What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stay Tranquilo podcast. We got an awesome one here today. We're here with Laura and Victoria. So I'll give them their time for their intro soon. But before we get started, we're doing a segment today with Stella Rosa. As you can see, we got a couple of their different products here. We got some of their non-alcoholic beverages. We got some of their canned drinks. And we got their Prosecco and one of their wines over there on the right side. The canned drinks are awesome. They're easy to drink. Take them on the go. Take them to the beach, playing golf, whatever that may be. It's a great product. They got a grapefruit flavor and a blueberry flavor. I think you got the grapefruit right there. So definitely check them out. You can find them pretty much anywhere. We'll attach a link so you guys can see where you could find them. But you guys, if you're in the mood to drink and you don't want to drink alcohol, they got options for you. So whatever you guys are in the mood for, they got. So yeah. So Laura, I'll give it to you first.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Tell them a little bit about yourself. You know what you do. Fun facts about you. Whatever you want. Whatever you want to let them know.
Okay. So hi everyone and my Stay Tranquilo peeps. My name is Laura and I'm a proud Colombiana. You're obviously Latina. Are you?
Yes.
You're not Colombian, right?
No.
Okay.
Venezuelan.
Okay. Cool. I love Venezuelans.
We'll get into that. For sure.
But yeah, my name is Laura. I am a Floridian through and through, and I work for a really cool media company called Me Too. And it's awesome because we get to do stuff with our community. And I also have a little blog, my little baby blog called Hustle con Sazon.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm sure you guys will get to know me a little bit throughout the podcast,
Yes.
but that's
Cool.
me in a nutshell.
Cool. So Victoria, tell them a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you got going on.
My name is Victoria. I'm actually multiple things. So I'm Venezuelan, but my mom is Cuban, and I have Italian in me as well.
Ooh.
So I got a little bit of everything in there. I am a behavior analyst.
Okay.
I work with children with autism, adults, teens, adolescents, and at the moment I have a little passion project called Speed Dating on the Spectrum. So I host speed dating events for adults on the spectrum. But yeah, we'll probably get into that a little later too, so I won't say too much.
We'll get into a little bit about everything. And you know, when you guys were talking now and you guys were saying where you guys are from, I don't think I've ever actually said where I'm from on the podcast now that I think
Where
about
are
it.
you from, Mr. Stay Tranquilo?
It's not that fancy, but I'm Cuban. My grandparents are from Cuba. Typical Miami story, nothing fancy. But both sides of my family are Cuban. And then for whatever it's worth, my 23andMe says I'm Spanish as well, which is pretty much everybody.
I think it's worth a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But cool. So, Laura, you said that you work for Me Too. Tell people a little bit about what Me Too is. Obviously, we're all Latinos and Latinas.
Yeah.
So, obviously, that takes a role into Me Too and a lot of the things that they do.
Yeah, so Me Too by itself we are a media publisher, so kind of think of like a BuzzFeed,
Right.
but for the US Hispanics.
Nice.
And we create content and basically foster a community for what we call 200 percenters. So it's those like us who are 100% Latinos and 100% American.
Nice.
Because we exist and we matter. And I work for the brand partnerships team, which has really been just such a cool experience because our clients, which are different brands, come to us and want to create content or create like social media campaigns for our audience. And I'm the one that kind of helps that come to life.
That's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah. That's
Super
it.
fun.
Yeah,
What's
it's
been your
awesome.
favorite brand to work with?
Oh,
Sorry.
No. Ask as many questions as you want. Ask as many questions
no,
as you want.
honestly, I can't say that I have a favorite one.
Top 3.
But we did. I'll tell you a little bit about one of the most recent things we did. We did this campaign with Walmart, and what we did was we found 8 young Latinos, 200 percenters that want to be in the filmmaking industry. And in partnership with Walmart, we created this kind of like a program where they got to go to LA for 2 weeks and learn with everybody in the studios. We got John Leguizamo as like a celebrity mentor to kind of give them this once in a lifetime experience on how to break into the industry. And then we did a bunch of things on social media with that content. We had like a premiere night in LA, and it was super fun.
Very
and
cool.
It was just a really cool way to give back and have that be work, you know?
Were the people from like all over the US?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
there were some people that came in from Texas. Others were in California already. We had someone from Virginia. So it was really just... we source them through. That's the beauty of social, right?
Yeah.
Is like we have access to all these people, and so
from all over.
It was really cool.
You guys did that at the studio?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
our studio in LA,
Cool.
which you've been to.
Yes, the studio is awesome. It's in LA. Big warehouse space. Like you walk in there, it's like if you've ever been to like Disney, it feels like you're in Disney World, like in Hollywood
Or like
Studios.
an Epcot, where it's like every.
Well, it's like to me, it reminded me of like Hollywood Studios, like super rustic, right?
Yeah.
So it's like super LA deserty style.
Yeah.
Has like that area with the railroad in the back.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's cool.
You would never think that you're walking into like a media publishing like content space.
Yeah.
But it's cool. A lot of character.
So where is the Me Too space here?
We are remote.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So,
very cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been really great.
I've been telling them they got to bring something to Miami though.
I
think
feel
it's-
like a cool
it's-
space in Miami would be like perfect.
Yeah.
It just makes so much sense. I mean, you have the blends. Because, like, to me, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, like, Miami is the Latino hub. Like, obviously, LA is big, you know, New York is big, but, I mean, Miami, just from, like, the Caribbean alone, you got an influx of Venezuelans, an influx of Colombians, an influx of Puerto Ricans, Cubans.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it, everything.
We do really live in like a bubble.
Yeah.
Like I've been surrounded by Latinos my whole life, and I think it's because like growing up here is a huge part.
And it's, I mean, it's at this point, it's a lot of second, third generation, maybe even fourth generation at this point, right? So it's like, it's the perfect, like 100% that you were talking about. Like I was at the World Baseball Classic games the other day.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Those
If that doesn't
games
show you,
were
like,
out
yeah.
of control. Like I didn't go, but just like seeing them on social media, like I don't think I've ever seen. No one has seen that stadium packed to that like capacity.
And the energy.
The energy,
it's cool.
yeah.
It was fun.
I've gone to a lot of sporting events. Maybe nothing like major. Like I've never been to a Super Bowl. I've never been to a World Cup game or anything like that. But I've been to some like big sport venues and like big games. That was like something I've never witnessed in my life.
Yeah.
Just
And even
the
then,
energy is crazy, and they're so passionate.
yeah, like even then, like all those big things that you were talking about, like there's like
Well,
the culture's not there.
A lot of those guys that have played in the biggest stages, World Series, and I mean that's probably the biggest stage they've played on. But they're like, it's nothing like I've ever been in before. It's,
Yeah.
and it just shows because like when people like us, like we're passionate as hell about
That's
where we're from.
Where we come from.
You know, and it shows on the biggest stages.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
saw-
not about a World Series. It's like literally about your country.
I was seeing on social media like everybody with their like jerseys from their countries, and I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? Like I didn't even know this stuff existed.
Yeah.
People are like decked out like head to toe in like their Dominican jerseys, their Puerto Rican jerseys, and I'm just like, where did you guys get this stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't even know this
Yeah.
existed.
I know. I didn't know that either. And the crazy part is, like, in the stores, they would just have a shit ton of swag to pick from. So it's like they got merch, they got everything.
They're ready to go.
They
Yeah.
were ready.
Sure.
Yeah, they were ready to
Yeah,
go.
it's cool. But so tell us a little bit about speed dating on the spectrum. You know, how did that come to life? First off, like, what was kind of like the thoughts of getting that started, and tell them a little bit more about what it actually entails.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys know Love on the Spectrum on
I'm actually
Netflix.
I'm actually
Yeah, I've
not
never seen it, but
familiar.
I've heard
Okay,
of it.
so I watched it. I watched season 1, and I was like, this is so beautiful. I also have a younger sister on the
Okay.
spectrum. So as I was watching it, you know, on the show is just a bunch of adults, and they're looking for love. And it kind of like dawned on me, like, there's no reason why they shouldn't be allowed to
Yeah.
have the same opportunities that we have. And my sister, she's gonna be 23 next month. And for like the last 3 years, it's I want a boyfriend, I want a boyfriend, I want a boyfriend. You have a boyfriend. My other sister has a boyfriend, so like naturally she wants a boyfriend. So after watching the show, like I spoke to my parents, and I'm like, I think we should help her look for a boyfriend. Like there's no reason why she shouldn't be allowed to have a
course,
boyfriend. She has natural wants and desires like everybody else. Everybody wants a significant other, and everybody wants to feel loved by someone who are not your parents and your sisters. So I told my parents that I was gonna set her up, or I was gonna find her a boyfriend.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I found this app that's it's like Bumble, but it's for people on the spectrum.
cool.
and I thought it was super sketchy. There just wasn't a lot of people on it either. People that I was matching with were like in Australia, and I was like, okay, let me decrease the distance.
Right.
Still, there was like 3 options. Yeah, it was right. I'm like, why am I going to Australia? There was like 3 different options of people, and like they didn't have face, or like when I told them, I was honest too, because I want people to know I'm like, I'm doing this for my sister. This is her, obviously, but I'm gonna set you up. The one person that I matched with obviously didn't answer me because like red flag. Which I understood that part, so I was like, all right, let me just set her up on a blind date. And then it kind of was like, what if I just set her up on like 10 blind dates, speed dating? And then I kind of reached out to a couple people. I put an event together, and like people were like, this is amazing, well, how can I sign up? My son, my daughter, like all of this stuff. So it ended up being like a double win. Like I'm also helping my sister, but I'm helping out like a bunch of other people that are kind of going through the same thing. And it also hit me that like this population has such limited resources in what they can and can't do, or mostly what they can't do or what they don't have access to, and what they're kind of shielded from because of family, because of, you know, we want to protect them. Obviously there are some limitations to what people on the spectrum can and can't do, and limitations in the sense that, you know, they might not always know other people that have good intentions, right? And that's kind of like where my family where their kind of securities come from. It's like, we don't know who she's going to meet on the internet. We don't know if that person has good intentions. We don't know, you know, what could happen to her, because she might not know better. So kind of creating a safe space where everyone is vetted that comes, you know, I have interviews with everybody before they're allowed. They can't just sign up and show up. They have to sign up. We do like a 5-minute meet and greet. I make sure that they're able to, you know, hold conversations and kind of do this on their own, because we have people at the event that will help them, but like I don't want to help them. And it's been really awesome, because for the most part, the last couple of events, like nobody has wanted our help. We're like kind of just like sitting ducks. We're kind of just like
they're
thriving without us. We're just like standing here on, and like someone will like put up a help, and I'm like, oh my god, what do you need? And they're like, I just need a new pencil. I'm like, oh, okay, no advice. So it's been really great, and it's been nice. She still doesn't have a boyfriend, but we're gonna keep looking.
That's
so
fine. Yeah, it shouldn't be rushed, but you're giving her the opportunity to find someone.
And it kind of helps all of them practice, you know, practice dating skills, practice how to have conversations with people, practice like the next step as well. Like, you know, after your first date, what do you do? Because that's not really their first date, and we tell them, you know, after you match with someone, it's on you to set up the first date and continue and go out with them. So they're practicing all these skills that they don't have access to practice in other areas in their life, in other settings, and it's like a real life setting too. Like I didn't like make this up. It's not something that I put together.
Do they like, so they get to this event, do they go and they connect with everyone that's there at the event, like at least for a certain amount of time?
So they get 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how many people we were able to like rally for the event. 7 to 10 minutes with each participant.
Got it. And then what happens if you hit it off with someone? Do you go back to that person after the 7 to 10 minutes?
So we only do it once. We only go around once. So they have a little notebook where they can like write notes on everybody, and then on the back they put their top 3, and then I match them depending on like their top 3s.
So you're the matchmaker?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not actually matchmaking. I'm just putting them together with who they put on their list, and then I'll send them information like through an email. I'm like, hey, you got a match. I know. And then on the email, it has like their name, their email, their social media, a phone number, so that they can go out and like reach them. And then we do offer, like, if you need help with anything, let us know. We'll help you if it's like calling a restaurant to make a reservation, or like what should you do, or how to open up a conversation. Only one person has ever asked for help and it was just to like make the reservation. And then it was kind of like, all right, we're not going to do it for you. We're going to help you so that you don't need us again. But yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really interesting, and they're all super excited. And why should they not be? You know, like they have needs and wants and desires just like everybody else.
That's so cool. It's crazy because you would think like we go about our everyday life, like just the dating scene, you know, and just like don't really think about it. But there's so many of those people that ultimately, you know, need that chance. You know, the connection. They're not really maybe as social as like, you know, we are, because we're going out all the time,
right? But
you're providing basically like a space where they can connect, which is cool. And you would think that would have been something by now.
So Right. I would think that too. I actually got the idea from a group in Canada.
Okay.
They were doing it. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were doing it virtually. Obviously, they started it during COVID, so I understood the whole virtual thing. But I didn't want to do that. I thought that,
it takes away from what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
From personal experience, my sister has enough virtual time. I want to get her out of the house. I want her to meet people in person. And at these events, like, they exchange numbers at the end too. Like, cool. If they have someone that they hit it off with, they're like, hey.
Even if they become friends, like, that's already a win as it is.
Exactly.
Like, someone to hang out with.
And and that's what we tell them. Don't expect to find love on the first event.
Yeah.
You might have to come back once or twice or three times. Not even I found love on the first time. I don't think you did. And I don't know if you did either, but if you did, like, kudos to you. You're 1 in a million, or 1 in a couple thousand. There's not a lot of stories like that. And it's also good to practice, like, rejection, like dealing with rejection, and asking people for numbers. Like, they ask me, like, can I get her number? I'm like, yeah, go do whatever you want. Like, you're allowed to exchange numbers. You're allowed to make friendships out of this. I know some of them have, like, stayed friends after, which has been nice. It's like one extra friend to have to do something with.
It's like a community builder too.
Yeah.
Which I feel like even I would do that, like, to go and find more friends, because I feel like with COVID and everything that happened with the pandemic, I feel like before we took for granted the amount of opportunities we had to be in person, meeting different people. And then when COVID happened, it was hard to have that community still, because I was taking care of myself and want to make sure my family was safe. And so getting back into that,
it's
into
hard.
Meeting people and building that community again has been like kind of scary.
You lose your social skills.
You lose it, for
You're
sure.
like, wait, am I allowed to get this close to them?
Yeah.
Like, how do I open up this conversation? And it just allows, you never know who you're gonna meet. You might, like, now that I met you, like, now we have some type of connection, and maybe I'll see you out in the future, and I'm like, oh, well, I know Laura from me too, and like, she has, like, all of these connections, or she has this community that she's exposed to, something different. It's always good. I think it's important to, like, expand your network, because you never know, like, who's gonna bring something positive into your life.
True.
What's that saying, network is your net worth, or something like that?
Is that what it is?
I think so. It's a little cliche, I guess, but but it's true though. Like, the more people you surround yourself with that ultimately have, like, a very similar vision, similar values, are gonna open a lot of doors for you. It may not be right now, but you're gonna be like, oh shoot, you remember that person that I met that did this and this, and then boom, you never know where that takes you.
I actually have a really good friend that I made through my sorority in college, and like, we're still close to this day, and she's a lawyer, and like, recently she was like, hey, I want to introduce you to someone that's, like, doing something for people on the spectrum.
Oh, wow.
And I want you guys to, like, connect. Like,
uno nunca sabe.
Nunca sabes.
No.
Yeah.
It's so true.
It's so important.
That's why
to
you
just
try
keep
not to
those
burn
connections.
any bridges either.
Oh my God.
Like, you don't know who that person is, and not to look at, like, everyone as like, okay, what can you provide for me? But it's true. Like, that person is probably thinking the same thing about you. Like, I don't know anything about you, but who knows? Maybe we can help each other out, and that's honestly ultimately what it comes down to.
And it doesn't have to be today, like you said. It could be tomorrow, it could be next year, it could be in a year, and be like, hey, you know what? I have this super cool idea. Like, let me call Laura and see what she thinks about it. Like, I met her once, and she has, like, all of these, like, cool things that she works with. Like, maybe she would be interested. Not, okay, cool. Like, no hard feelings, no burned bridges. Like, it's just an opportunity to make something work with another person.
100%.
You can't go through life on your own, is what
facts.
I agree.
As much as people sometimes people want to be on their own, I'm like, you need people in your life.
You do.
And I don't know about like what you guys think, but like, to me, like, being Hispanic also makes me feel like more in union with, like, other Hispanics. Like, I don't know if that, like, if you guys get that same feeling. Like, I feel like we just, like, gravitate towards each other, and we gravitate towards, like, helping each other out more than, like, I don't know. Like, to me, that's how I just feel. It's like I guess, like, for lack of a better term, it's like familia aspect of it.
Yeah.
And we get that, like, at such a young age, that we, like, carry that with us everywhere we go.
Everybody is my family.
Exactly.
And it's like, you meet a friend, and I'm like, now your mom is my mom.
Yes.
Like,
Sometimes,
we're
like, I'll
all
go up to
family.
somebody, and it, like, obviously, like, a guy, but, like, like, I'll hug them or something like that. I'm like, why am I hugging this guy? I just met the guy.
Yeah.
But, like, we just hit it off, and, like, all of a sudden, like, I just feel like we're friends, And, like, I feel like not everyone gravitates that way. Like we're not always like that.
It's interesting. You sent me a couple questions before we came on the pod, and I was just kind of like using it as just to kind of like reflect and see. Because I don't know, the questions that you sent me, one of them specifically was like, what do you like most about being Latina? And I was like, I don't know.
Oh my God, that was a hard one for me too.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't know.
And funny enough, one of my favorite things is just we literally travel in packs.
Yeah.
And even since I was a little girl, like if all of my cousins and all of my aunts and uncles weren't at the function, I'm like, what's the point? Like, I want to be with 20 people in one car that only fits 6. And I feel like that,
I need the van.
You know exactly. You know.
That reminds us of the trip that we did with the van. Like we stuffed like 15 people in like an 11-seater with luggages, a bike, and I'm like,
everyone's got to go.
North Carolina.
That's how it is. And the door opens and like 6 people sit, and it's like, oh my God, how many people were in that car? Yeah. That's kind of what I want my life to be like. Is like all of us together.
That's cool.
And I think that's instilled in us since we're There's another cliche saying, and it's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yeah. I might have totally butchered that.
No,
but I think that's
if that's not it, it's very close.
Yeah,
I like the way you said it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to that, I don't know. It's I definitely gravitate towards Latinos, and it's just where I feel comfortable and I feel at home for sure.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have an answer to that question?
I think
what your favorite?
My answer was very similar. My answer was the culture.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of blended together with what you said about like we travel in packs. Like my family does everything together. And I thought that was normal until I went to Georgia and I met all of these people that see their parents like twice a year.
Yeah.
And that's like Thanksgiving. And then they would like, I have to go see my parents like Thanksgiving, but I'll be back like New Year's, Christmas. I'm like, no, I won't be here either. I'm back home with the family, like 100%. Parents. I'm like, I'm not allowed to do Christmas without them. I got to see them on New Year's. Thanksgiving is a non-negotiable. Yeah. And that's that was like my answer, kind of very similar. Like we do everything together and we are just like so bonded by, I don't know if it's the culture, I don't know if it's just like that's what's instilled within them and they instilled it in us and now like we're gonna instill it into our next generation. And I never even really noticed it until like I left and I'm like, damn, my family really does everything together.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. Like, I've lived in Miami my whole life, so like this is all I know. This is like it's normal. You go out and it's a lot of families that go out to dinners. Like they do everything together, right? And it's friends, and then it piggies back into like friends' families and their families, right? And everything is just like everything's in union. And for me, like if I go out of Florida, it's literally like a culture shock. It's so different. It's crazy.
Same. It's so different. And then like I would go out to dinner and I would see people eating dinner and it was just like 1 or 2 people and I'm like, oh my God, we need like a table for 8. And it was like always a thing. And it's like, we got to tell abuela and we got to tell your tío and your tía and like everyone's going to be there. Oh, but if you want, tell your friend and your friend tell her mom she can come too. It's like everyone's invited. And it wasn't like that over there, you know. It was very much like everyone to themselves. We had our friend group and like we did our, again, in our pack. Like we were like, we're going out, we're all going out together. It's just so different. That the culture is really, I think, what my answer was.
Hispanics have no chill. Like they do.
You literally
don't. I love to observe people, and just like when I, just like walking around, I'm just like intrigued by like how people just like go about their day, and they just clearly do not care about anything.
No.
Like I feel like that's another thing that Hispanics just like, they'll say whatever's on their mind and they don't really care about the repercussions until after the fact that they happen.
Or like you gotta be like, papi, stop.
Exactly. Like my grandma sometimes, I'm like, dude, you cannot say that.
Is it boundaries? What is that?
Yeah.
Who
created those?
Yeah.
I know. And I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but on, was it New Year's? I think it was New Year's. My boyfriend walked into my house and immediately within like 2 minutes, my aunt's like, when are you gonna propose?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then he go said hi to my dad. And what are you waiting for?
Wow.
Like, it's time. Let's go. Clock's ticking. He called him un pollo quemado. He's like, you're roasting in the oven too long.
Love that.
And then my grandma, literally the next greeting, are you going to propose anytime soon? And I'm like, oh, Lord. you've been here for 5 minutes.
And
you're getting
interrogated.
Yeah. Like, no chill, guys. Like, no chill.
He
also
just didn't walk out.
Right. He also got there. Like, everybody was already like 2 drinks in. I'm like, we're feeling extra loose
you had
tonight.
the booze on top of it. Then
Yeah. I'm like, perdón.
It's
I'm so
funny.
sorry.
I have a cousin that every family party he would come, he was like, honestly, I just come here and I sit, I just drink, and I just observe. And I just wait to see what's going to go down. And he's just like, it's like a movie. Every time I come here, something crazy would go down.
It's so entertaining.
Whether it was like a fight, an argument, or just like, drunk mad, like whatever it was, like he was just there waiting for it. And he would know exactly. He's like, okay, like by hour 2, this is where it starts getting interesting.
Or like
play by play.
Yeah, on like the 4th drink, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it never failed. It was automatic. But it's so crazy. We're definitely unique in our own ways. But something I also wanted to ask you, Laura, is, and kind of like picking back off of this, how have brands kind of gravitated over the last, I guess, like year or two to like really cater to the Hispanic audience? Because obviously more Hispanics are moving into the U.S. every day, right? So it's becoming a big priority for a lot of people. So what have you seen that like a lot of brands are doing?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like specifically with us, it's like they know the audience is there. They know we're here. They know there's many of us. And I think the coolest thing about getting to work with someone like us is like we are Latinos. Like it's literally content created by Latinos for Latinos. So the coolest things that I see, and the best products or campaigns we put out there is when like brands trust us, right? So it's like,
so you guys are able to create it,
right? Like here's the thing, do what you want with it,
right? And it's such a beautiful thing because we are speaking and creating things from our experiences. Everything we just talked about is something pretty universal among Latinos, and so I think the more brands trust who they're working with, like the better, because we won't lead you astray. Like we know we are our audience. Exactly. So not sure if that answers your question, but that's been the coolest for me, because it's like a lot of times brands that we're working with aren't on the other side aren't necessarily Latinos. So it's like let me educate you while we work, and let me show you what our community is like.
Right.
So that's one of the cool things, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and it's cool that you say that, because to your point, like that means there must not be too much of a Latino presence within those brands, right? At least on maybe there is, but not on the creative side, But they're obviously coming to you guys because there's a level of expertise and knowing of just like what you care about, what are our behaviors, how do we act, all that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I've been shielded from. And I know it's real. I know a lot of people that work in the same industry that I do that maybe don't see themselves represented amongst their teams, but I think I've been in a interesting position where I've always been working at places that cater towards like our community. Yeah. So it's been really nice to learn from people with it. I don't know, and see myself represented. I feel like it lets me bring my authentic self to work. But I know it's out there. Like I know that that's not the case everywhere. Yeah. Like what you say, like culture shock is a very real thing. I just think growing up in Miami, and even when I was in LA for a little bit, and then just my work environments, I've always been around Latinos. So I've been lucky enough to learn from people that are like me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, do you think that when you're making like a I don't know, like a choice of like a product you want to buy or like something like that, do you ever feel like you gravitate more if the brand is like a Latino owned brand, or does that not really like?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't
because I don't think that necessarily that is the case always.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna be honest, I feel like we're kind of living in a time where like the Latinos are on the come up. Yeah. As opposed to maybe like 10 or 20 years ago. And like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like maybe I'm just noticing it now. There's like an influence almost that's becoming a thing that like people are a little bit more of like, oh, Latinos are cool as fuck. Yeah. And I'm like, we've always been cool.
But to me, what was a big thing, like kind of piggybacking off that, like when that kid Marcelo, I don't know if you know Marcelo Hernandez, but
I don't know him. But he's funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious. But SNL said like, hey, we need to go get Latin, like, what what do you call it?
Representation.
Representation and talent, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
to be on there. And he's been a home run.
But like,
and they're
that's
looking
like
for
a
more
new
of that
thing,
now.
right?
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like,
new.
for
Exactly.
example, we all saw like the karaoke thing with Bad
Oh,
Bunny.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
he's been the first.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the first and only, because I think like J-Lo's done it too, but like Bad Bunny's the first like non-USA like Latino representation on that show, whereas like you could even tell the conversation
That's
was
actually
really
crazy.
hard
That's
because there was a huge like language barrier.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's speaking a little bit of English now,
Yeah.
but like you could tell like it was hard. Like there was only certain things that were being able to ask, or like he would only answer in like one word, or like he didn't really know what to say. And it was crazy to me because I used to watch those all the time. I think they're hilarious. Like the Migos one is my favorite one, but the Bad Bunny one is super great too. And it's so nice to see that, because it's like, damn, I didn't even realize that like this has never been a thing. You know,
It just comes to show, like, even though he speaks English very well, but the U.S., we're obsessed with him. Like,
Right.
even
Yeah.
people who
I think
don't
he was the number one artist across every genre.
We
Yeah.
don't speak, or some people don't speak a word in Spanish, and everybody's still listening to
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
And like, it's crazy because I don't really listen to music that's neither in Spanish nor English, but it's like the fact that people are doing that and they don't even know what he's saying. It's because he has some kind of influence.
right. I have a good friend still from Atlanta, and she's like, I love this Bad Bunny song. What is he saying?
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, well, do you really want me to translate it?
I think there's like a level of like, I want to say like sexiness to like Hispanic
Yeah,
vibe that like American traditionalists.
It's very appealing.
They just
Very-
gravitate to it. Like they
Yeah.
come to Miami and they're like, oh my god, that's amazing.
We have esa chispa, like that warmth
Yeah,
that people
exactly.
want to be
It's
a
a
part
chispa.
of.
It is.
For sure.
It's exactly what it is. Like people like, what the hell is that? It's like
Yeah.
a flavor to it, and they're like, like I'm intrigued by that.
That's
like,
why people go
Yeah.
to Colombia and then they never want to come back.
Uh-huh.
It's like they go and then they fall in love with the culture and the
Yeah.
people and the food and
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Georgia, people would hear me speak Spanish and they're like, so exotic. I'm like, really? Really? Question mark? I mean, it's just
Exotic.
Spanish, but
Yeah,
like to them, it's
Yeah.
like this whole other thing. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm exotic now.
That's crazy. What was I gonna say? That you said you were from Colombia. What part of Colombia are you from again?
okay, so I'm not from Colombia, but
Oh, okay.
I am.
But you-
Right. No, you're
I'm
Colombian.
100%
Yes.
Colombian, but my mom's from Medellin and my dad's from Cali, and
Okay.
then they grew up in Bogota, which is the
Nice.
capital.
Yes.
But I am very, very connected to my culture, and I
Nice.
go there as often as I can. So I am Colombiana. Okay?
Yes,
Even
you
though I
are.
wasn't born there. So yeah.
Nice. And then your parents are from?
So I was born in Caracas, Venezuela.
Oh, you were born over there?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
She's
that.
was-
the real deal.
Yeah.
I'm really not. It's funny because I don't have an accent, but a lot of that comes from like, we don't speak Spanish in my house because of my
Okay.
sister. She doesn't speak Spanish, so it was kind of like we stopped that when I was like 5 or 6. But
Okay.
I still speak pretty fluent Spanish.
Yeah.
But no one can ever tell where I'm from because I don't have an accent when I talk.
Got it.
So my dad was born in Venezuela as well, but his parents are Italian immigrants. So they fled after World War II, I'm gonna say, to
makes sense.
Venezuela when they were 16 and like 14, 13.
Okay.
Pretty young. So they basically lived their whole life there. But I would say that maybe they raised us a little bit more Italian than Venezuelan. Like,
Yeah.
I eat the arepas, and like we know all of that stuff, but there are things that Venezuelans do that like we might not do, or
Yeah.
like eat that. I'm like, no, I don't really eat that in the
Yeah.
house. Like, we eat pasta. And then my mom was born in Miami, but her parents are from Cuba.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure where my grandfather is from, but my grandmother is from Matanzas.
That's where my grandma's from, is
Yeah.
Matanzas, yeah. Which is actually where Fidel Castro's from as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only reason I know that is because my grandma would say that she like grew up playing with Fidel. And like,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Which
crazy.
is crazy.
That
Yeah,
is
it is
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, because at that point, Cuba was democratic. It was a free country.
Right.
So and it was rich. You know, like import export was huge there. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a thriving country. And then obviously we all know what happened after that. But it's similar with Venezuela. You know.
Yeah,
Thriving
yeah. I'm
country,
not- I mean,
Colombia.
I'm
I don't
not.
want to talk about
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but
Crazy.
I can't. I haven't been back in
It's so sad to see that.
like
stuff.
10 plus years because I physically cannot
Yeah.
be back there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, but
if
that's
I
a
go,
big
they
reason
keep me,
why
so.
so many there's such an influx here in the U.S. is
Yeah.
because unfortunately in those countries like politics have taken over, and it's just created a mess.
I know. I am dying to go to Colombia though. I haven't been.
Please.
You've never been?
I've never been.
Really?
I've never been. I might go this year, at the end of the year.
Do it.
For a wedding,
but
but
3-hour flight away, not too bad.
yeah.
Are you going to the wedding
I might, maybe.
in November? Like Carlos' wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. That'll be fun. That would be a good excuse.
Yeah,
to
that
go.
would be a good excuse to go,
I might
right?
go to the wedding too.
Yes.
Everybody comes.
Laura's my plus one. Sorry, Patrick. Too bad I'm his plus one.
So before we kind of like wrap up, I think we're getting close to time.
Oh, that flew by.
I
Did.
know.
I feel like we haven't been here that long. So
I
much
know.
I want to
It's
know
'cause
about
we
you.
talk- we
Right? We're
talk
just
a
always
lot.
talking.
It's a good time.
That was like, never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to take up more time. Go with your question.
Both of you, what's your favorite like Hispanic dish to eat?
Arroz con pollo.
Arroz con pollo.
Bandeja paisa.
Oh.
Ooh.
I love it.
So you have to tell. Some people may not know what it is. So you got to.
Oh, it's literally rice and chicken.
It's not
But like
that
with
simple.
sazon.
Yeah,
You know?
there you go.
And the rice is not white.
Right, the rice is not white. It's like yellow. I actually, maybe
Because
this
you
is wrong.
gotta sell it. You're like, oh,
Right.
it's chicken and rice.
Chicken-
You're
I
gonna be
know,
like,
I know, but it's
"What?
like-
I go to Chicken Kitchen
It's
and I
chicken
get
rice
that.
and love.
Chicken rice. The part is the love.
Yeah.
Because I can't just eat it anywhere and be like, this is my favorite dish. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite dish is my grandma's arroz con pollo. You
100%.
heard that, abuela? Like, I need you to make it soon.
It's funny every time I ask this, everyone says their abuela makes the
Yeah,
best.
yeah,
So
yeah.
funny. Neither of my grandmas really cook. God bless them. But I'm sure it would taste better if they made whatever it is.
Right, right. It's
Yeah.
made with
Yeah.
love. It was made specifically for you.
Yeah.
I love my mom's too, but like my
Abuela's is
grandma,
another
right?
level.
Abuela's is another level.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like chicken, rice, sazon. There's peas. You get some like maduros on
Oh,
the
yeah.
side with it.
Do you put ketchup on it, or is that like
No.
illegal? Okay, just wondering.
Do you put ketchup on it?
I'm not a ketchup
I don't
person.
know.
She's like, I plead the fifth.
Hot sauce. I put a lot of hot sauce on it.
I eat it. This is the Italian me. Sometimes I'll put cheese on it.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I have heard that though.
That's
My
like
I don't know
dad,
if that's
my
Italian.
Italian father taught me that. He's like,
Yeah.
you just gotta add a little bit of cheese on it. I'm like, okay.
I'm sure that's really yummy.
Yeah. Gives it a little bit
How
of
about you?
extra.
So what is?
Oh my god, what is in a bandeja paisa?
That's true.
It's literally, and I don't even know if I know how to say it in English, but it's rice, carne molida.
Okay.
How do you say that in English?
No idea. But I know what it is.
Yeah, I know what it is. I
Look
would-
it up.
Carne molida. And there's chicharrón. Sometimes there's a egg on it. There's beans. There's
They put like potatoes sometimes in it. No.
I don't know. I think the rice usually takes over. Like,
Okay.
But they do have plantains.
Okay.
Yeah. That dish
it's
is
just
amazing. It's just
mixing
everything.
Everything together.
That's my
The
favorite
more-
part of it is the whole
more-
mixing of all the flavors.
Same. It's ridiculous. And
Everything
then
gets mixed. Everything gets mixed.
And then the way you put hot sauce and you put cheese, I put lime. So like
Okay.
I put lime on anything. So,
Lime's so good.
yeah. It's
Gives
good.
it a little bit of extra tang.
Just a little, yeah. A little bit.
It's so good.
We're just like all hungry at this
Yeah,
point.
honestly,
We're
the
going to
more
lunch
talking about
after.
it, I'm like,
Yes.
I need to eat something. I actually haven't eaten anything today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Lunch after.
Nah, whatever. Let's see what else. What else would I want to ask?
What's
you
your
guys?
favorite dish?
Ooh.
You asked us.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm a big arroz con pollo person too. Honestly,
Abuela's
that's
though.
yeah. My grandma's. I love maduros. I love Cuban pastries like
pastelitos?
Like pastelitos.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Just pastelitos and like
Do you like
Cuban
croquetas?
toast and croquetas. Like, if I could eat that every day, I would eat that every day.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's just not the healthiest, so I can't do that. But yeah, I love that. I love a good pan con lechon. It's just like I could name so many.
Yeah.
Like I could go
Yeah,
on.
we have good food.
But pan con lechon with like the
So
grilled
good.
onions.
It's so good.
The papita juliana. Oh my god.
What's that?
Like the little tiny crunchy.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
They're,
Yeah, I know
they're
exactly
basically
what you're
like
talking
chips.
The
but
little,
they're
the
like,
little papitas.
they're
yeah,
like
yeah,
little
yeah.
papitas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what they were called.
Me either. I
Yeah.
never-
I don't know.
Is that what they're called?
Literally, I mean, maybe that's the brand. Maybe that's why they're called that. But yeah, that's what I call them.
Yeah.
I always get them like in that little like yellow container
Yeah,
with the
the
red
yellow-
top. Is that
exactly.
what it's called?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I never even read the label.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, these are papitas. Let's take them.
Yeah. And they're like 50 cents, so you just fucking just drown
Yeah.
in it.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah,
cool.
we're definitely going to lunch after this.
Yes, 100%. Well, thanks guys for being on. I appreciate it. It was a good time.
Thanks for having us.
But if there's anything you would like to let the people know before you go, now's your time. Where to find you,
Where to
a
find
little
me.
word of wisdom, whatever it is that you guys want to do. Fun facts.
I think the thing that I've learned the most from these speed dating events is just to be like unapologetically yourself. That community has showed me that like no filter.
Yeah.
Like just be who you are, and like the people that love you will love you for the person that you are, and you'll find your group based off what you actually like and your interests and all of those things. Like don't make things up. No bullshit.
I like that. That's awesome.
I like
That's
that
so
too.
true. I don't know. Do you got anything?
I guess to go off of that, there, like, if we want, since we've been so cliche today with all the quotes, I really like the lo que es para ti, nadie te lo quita. And I think it goes hand in hand with being unapologetically yourself. Because when you are, I think what's meant for you will come.
That's so true. And like I live by that, I think.
Yes.
I'm like, it wasn't for me.
Yeah,
Let it go.
I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. So in the moment, I was like, I thought that was para me, but maybe it isn't.
But then the next door opens and you're like, you know what? It wasn't for me.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Just lo que es para ti, nadie te lo quita.
I like it. And we didn't get to touch on it too much, but she's got an awesome little channel with Hustle con Sazon. So make sure to check that out.
Thanks.
It's very cool.
It's at Hustle con Sazon.
Yes. On Instagram.
Instagram.
And give you a follow.
Where can they find speed dating?
Same thing. Instagram at Speed Dating on the Spectrum.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to check them out and tune into the next one. Later.
Stay tranquilo.